What's up, everyone? My name's Jay, and I'm going to go over my Red Sea Reefer 525 with you today. Before, in some of my other videos, I showed that I had a 170 before. This unit right here has probably been up since sometime in May. Um, I moved everything over to here, and it was amazing, and I don't know what happened, but I blew up with an Aptasia issue. I tried Aptasia X, I tried Nudibranchs, I tried feeding less. I tried everything you can possibly think of trying to get rid of Aptasia, other than like maybe a wand or one of those things. Or I didn't try a laser light either. I heard that works, but um, I think as I did that, it just like exploded into even worse problems. So what I decided to do is I decided to take everything out, but I'm doing it extremely slow so I don't throw off my biochemistry and destroy everything in my tank. Down low I have a ton of biomedia, and so as I'm pulling stuff out slowly, like maybe once a week I do water changes, I'll pull a rock out, I'll take whatever corals are on there, I'll put them on frag plugs, make sure everything's cleaned out of Aptasia. Once that's done, they go up into the frag racks up on the walls, and I'm just monitoring everything very slowly. And at some point I got some new dry rock coming in. And it doesn't have to be cycled. I don't have to worry about any decay on it when I put it in. My wife and I are going to try breaking it up, and we're going to try building like a real cool structure out of it. I got some acrylic rods from Amazon. I've got a bunch of epoxy that's white that'll match that rock as we put it on. And hopefully, when we put it in there, yeah, it takes a lot longer than maybe buying some live rock, or some of the newer stuff that has purple, like the coralline color on it. But for me, it's not going to take that long to get the coralline algae growing on it and have the rock changing the right color. And I'd rather spend like way less money and start with the dry rock, and wait for that color to come in than just get it already done like that. So I know it's beautiful rock and it looks great, but you're going to be spending like what, 90 bucks for 20 pounds or whatever it is. So I'm not trying to spend like $300 or $400 on it. And that's what I'm going to do. And so right now, please don't judge my tank. It's just looking a little bit bare. Over here, it's kind of weird. The nudibranchs, I think, are starting to like pick up, because every day I'm looking at some Aptasia. I'm trying to focus in on that Aptasia and see what happens. And I think it's working. So I don't know. Before I put any other rock in there, I'll take a look at that. But with how much biomedia I have, how many bioballs I have down low, I have like supposed to be good for 1,000 gallons, but I know for damn sure it's going to be good enough for a 140 gallon system. So yeah, that's where we're at. So sorry that it looks like this, but I want to go over some of my equipment. I'm just going to do it quick, and then we can spotlight some stuff as we go. Up top I have the Aquatic Life T5 hybrid fixture. I've got 3 HD primes in there, one in the middle, one on the ends. 2 of them are the older ones, and the one in the middle is the newer unit that Aqua Illumination came out with. The thing I love about the older units, it has the storm mode, and I love the lightning. Like, I love putting that on and randomizing those events, and then like, how cool is that? You're sitting in your chair at night and the cloud cover comes over and the lightning starts to hit, especially at nighttime when the lights start to dim down. Like, you can time all that. So it's just like kind of a cool little experience, especially if you have guests over and they're like sitting there like, oh, what's that flash? And then that lightning comes on, that lightning storm. Like, so it's kind of cool. It brings people over the tank and they're watching. Anyways, I like it. So that's what I have. And I have 4 of the T5 bulbs. So this is the 4-foot fixture. It doesn't come with the bulbs. It doesn't come with the HD primes. It doesn't come with any LED unit. So it just comes as the fixture, and it comes with the things used to suspend it, however you want to suspend it, and obviously the cable. So when you plug it in, if you put the bulbs in, you put the LEDs you want on there, it'll come to life for you. But you just get it on sale when it comes out. You can get it on sale for a couple $100. And it was a humongous investment, because once I put that on, like the coral growth, I couldn't get the HD primes locked in to where I was getting like crazy growth out of it. Everything was looking nice, the colors were popping, I had a little bit of growth, but I was getting no coralline algae. I wasn't getting the explosion and growth that I was getting. Once I did this, everything like started blowing up, so it's been cool. On the right side of my tank, which I can bring you over and show you, I'm going to use my little light here. Turn it. I have, not today, buddy. The thing up top, it's a very cool little container. It's for camping. It's made for holding large amounts of water. It's 14 gallons. It has a pressure valve on top so you can keep it closed and it's not going to stop the flow. And it has the valve on the left side already. So all you have to do is go and purchase one of the tube valves, and it just connects right in, no problem. It was no time whatsoever, and that 14-gallon unit will last me, if I fill it right up to 14 gallons, it'll last me about a week in my 140-gallon Red Sea Reefer 525. And super convenient. I love it. Gravity fed, so you don't have to worry. I love gravity fed top-offs because then you don't have to worry about something stopping working on you and blowing out your pumps and throwing off your salinity. And I had it happen in my last tank. I didn't get to the point where my pump blew out, but I got to the point where it was very close, and I wasn't going to risk that anymore. I know there's a lot of units that are reliable, but why rely on that when I can just rely on gravity? That's going to work 100% of the time. Down low I have an Aqua Euro 1/4 horsepower unit. It's supposed to be good for what, 280 gallons I believe it was. So it's the larger, or one of the larger units. It works great. I'm in Arizona. It gets hot here, and it's necessary. And especially if you don't want to run an AC unit on in your house at with all your pumps and everything inside your tank, you got to kind of run your AC unit like 3 degrees or 4 degrees under what the 78, which is what I'm targeting, and that bill is way more expensive than running a chiller. So the chiller has paid for itself. I do have everything on a stand, like an aquarium stand. This was for a 40-gallon tank, I believe, or maybe this was a 75-gallon tank stand, but it was pretty cheap from PetSmart or Petco. You put it together. I bought some plywood. I cut it out to fit across the top, and I have a little cabinet shelf down low that holds the chiller up off the floor. And it was a perfect little unit. It looks good, and it functions properly. Now I'm going to run you over to the other side of the tank. I have a cabinet that I bought from Goodwill. Now this cabinet was like $5. I painted it, and then I just drilled holes in the back. It's very thin wood, and I put from Home Depot you can buy the little fixtures or the little hole things that go in there so you can manage all your cables. I use Velcro, so I Velcro all those to the backing of it, and it works just fine. In here I have my Neptune system that runs, I have complete control of my entire tank, and then I have my Neptune doser in here. I think it's called the dose. And yeah, I have my backup pump, which is an Ecotech. Which one is it? I forget which one. It's the S one, I think. So it's the smallest one they have. But I was using that on my other tank. So there I go with that. Then over here, I'm going to bring you down low. Let me just close this in. My thing won't break on me. When I open this, my LEDs kick on, which I set up through the Neptune system, and I'm sure there's like 100 other ways to set that up, but that's how I use it. I have bio balls in the Chato section of my sump, and that's supposed to be good for up to 1,000 gallons. It should definitely handle the 140 gallons. I don't have a lot of fish in the system. And as I'm taking out the live rock out of the display, I'm allowing that down low to maybe even populate more with the beneficial bacteria, and I'll even seed it some more every single time just to make sure with the stable, and then I also have another bacteria that I use, but the skimmer is it looks like I can't. The skimmer is a Reef Octopus 200. It's the classic internal. It works amazing on this tank, and I think it's good for up to 240 gallons. It's running a little weird right now because of the bacteria I put in there the other day, but it's all good. It still does the job, and I'm running it like wide open right now just to kind of get it to settle back in. Um, the media reactor that's hanging back next to it, that actually is from that's from Amazon for 30 bucks, and I think it does the same thing that like you'd pay $100 or $200 for from a system from another one from a name brand. So does a great job. I got some bio balls in there, and there's some pearls, and they're doing a good job. I've got the flow meter in the back, and that's running off of a Core 40 pump, so or Core 20, excuse me. So it's my Neptune Core 20, and I'm running the flow meter on there just so I can kind of monitor that and see what's going on. Really not necessary, but I just wanted to put it on there because it wasn't all that expensive, and I wanted to see what was going on. Now the thing with that is they run European threads on their PVC, and so it's not going to be something that you can quickly connect in when you need to. And so on that system, I have to go from the 3/4 thread on the Core 20 to the 1-inch thread that's on the inside the flow meter, and then back into the 3/4 inch tube return. So I didn't like that. I think that they should have used US threads or given you a different kind of connection so that you could have connected it without all the bulk. But I made it work, but it's throwing off the flow meter. So the flow meter is saying I'm only getting 500, a little bit over 500 gallons per hour, and I just know that's not accurate at all. I might be getting like 500 out of each like return hole up top, but I know I'm probably getting. I think I'm getting like 13 to 1400 gallons per hour return. But either way, it's definitely more than I had when I had my Ecotech Marine, my S1 on there, and so it does the job. Now up top, I have my salinity probe, and I have pumps inside the sump also, just like 400 gallon per hour, 600 gallon per hour pumps. And what that does is that helps move the detritus. It keeps the water moving in the sump. It keeps everything suspended in the sump, just like your aquarium, and it's going to be able to get pulled out, whether it's through the protein skimmer, whether it's through the going into the sponge, the pre-sponge before the return, or even if it gets back in the system and it stays suspended in there, it's going to get taken out of my filter sock. So on top of my filter socks, you see that I have like a little blue thing. I'm going to go over that someday with you on how I did it, but basically it's just a basket, a plastic basket from the store that I cut, and then I cut polyester pieces from bedding from Walmart, and I use that and I clean that off like every day after I feed it. Catches all the food that goes down to the sump, and instead of sitting in your socks rotting and screwing up your parameters, it catches it in there, and I can clean it out every day, and it actually prolongs the life of your filter socks, so that's always a positive too. To the right, in the shelf over here, I have a Coral View light, and that is for like a 200 plus gallon system, the UV light, UV sterilizer, and it really does like take care of nuisance algae. I think if I could, I would have put it on the return and the intake directly into the tank, because if you can do that, it just like works so much better. But it's still getting the job done. It gets rid of all that nuisance algae inside the tank, and it looks good. It'll last a long time. I have the ice cap because I use ice cap gyres. I have ice cap backup batteries, so that'll run one gyre for like I think 7 hours at the high. So it'll keep, if something happens in an emergency or the power goes out for an hour, it'll keep some flow in the tank. And then I do have an Ecotech Marine backup battery that was on my S1, but yeah, I took that out. So I'm using that right now on my MP10. I have an MP10 in the back there. I had two of them, but one of them I broke when I was cleaning it. But it's back there, and I usually keep those like at the bottom in this big tank just to keep the flow behind the rockscape. Up top I have the gyre. I think it's only a 1K. It's an older model, but it's been running for a while and they work good. I just use those for flow on the top of the tank, like just to keep the keep everything looking good up top. So I use one of those on each side, and I just like to keep the flow. It runs from 20 to 80, so sometimes it'll be pretty violent, and then sometimes it slows down. I have the Neptune Waves, which are amazing pumps, but they're ginormous. And the other thing is you have to like use filter socks from maybe like an NP40 or something if you want to like protect anemones or anything like that. So um, even though they push like incredible amounts of water and they're really price friendly and all that, they're kind of massive. So I think the positive is better than the negative. But here's some of my corals in my racks right now as I'm trying to get through this Aptasia issue. I have some stuff down low, but I did get some new coral frag racks today, like some long ones like there. They're only like 17 bucks each offline. I'll show you the brand. My torch is looking good. Um, my candy canes, my GSP, my toads, my montiporas, my hairy mushrooms, my frog spawns. Everything is like kind of looking real nice. Like this rock is just full of Aptasia, so I have to get through there and get propagate some of that coral off there and put it in like I did that one. So I have one done, but I've got to do more. Up here, I'll have to pull the Monty off, the GSP off, and the Zoas off the rocks. So yeah, my fish are mad at me right now because all I have is this little rockscape over here. So I have a Dottie back in there, and I just like my wife loves them. I love them. Like her, I don't know what it is, but either way, so much personality, but such a pain in the butt. Like I can't get shrimp, I can't get some other things in there. Just like yeah, my Antheus is like been going. He does not like the Dottie back at all. He's back there. He swims around. He's like the master of the tank. He doesn't mess with the tang really. Like he doesn't go after him, but or any of the other fish. But oh, one fish I'd like to bring up, these scats. I think they're kind of like cool looking, but they think they do a better job on the algae than the tang does. Like there was algae growing on the wave up there, and you can see like it's it's worked down to nothing. So they are picking, they're not being as picky with the algae type that they're eating as the tang is. They're just like going after it. Now the problem is I have to feed them seaweed now. I can't like I can't just put green, I can't put that kind of food in there. I just can't use pellet food. They just won't eat it. So anyways, that's my tank. I don't think I forgot anything. Thank you for watching. Red Sea Reefer 525. My wife and I are going to be doing the scape. I'll record that. I will let you know what's going on with these Aptasia, how my coral's coming, how I propagate, how I keep my sump clean. I'm just going to go over everything, and hopefully I can learn something from you, and maybe you won't make the same mistakes that I've made, and we'll all be better reefers for it. So again, my name's Jay. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.